Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Marco Casale, and this lecture is entitled Collaboration Strategies. It is part of the Complete Worship Songwriter's Handbook and supports Chapter 7, The Power of Two. This handbook was written for my capstone project for my master's degree in worship studies songwriting at Liberty University. The objectives for this lecture are to examine the reasons for songwriting collaboration. We will discuss the art of collaboration and the importance of humility and listening to one another. We will review a worship songwriter's approach to a songwriting session by starting in prayer and seeking God for guidance. I will then describe two original songs that my wife and I collaborated on and describe our approach. There is also a demonstration video on this specific topic. Next, we will address the importance of cultivating collaboration. We will explain a Nashville songwriting approach described as the no free zone. And lastly, we will design an exercise for songwriting collaboration with a worship team. So there are several reasons why it is a good strategy for songwriters to collaborate. If the lyrics start to sound like essays or sermons, it may need some other ideas. If the music ends up unexciting and unemotional, a different viewpoint could bring new options. A songwriter might be an excellent lyricist, but not as creative or sound with his or her musical skills. King Solomon provides sound advice. He shares that two people are better off than one, for they can help each other succeed. If one person falls, the other can reach out and help. This comes from Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9 through 10a. The art of songwriting collaboration depends on cooperation, and a key aspect for worship songwriters is to be humble and accept new direction. It is important to explain your point of view and ideas, but sometimes those ideas can be saved for a later time. In songwriting, there are many paths to develop a song with either music first, lyrics first, or both concurrently. It is more important to develop the song with what feels best. These lead to sound reason for collaboration. One person might be strong in music composition, while another is a better lyricist. Now, personally, I really enjoy working with my wife because she comes up with melodies that I think are far better because she can imagine singing them. I tend to use melodies that are well suited for my voice, but I'm starting to expand my horizons. Now, it is important to start a songwriting collaboration session with prayer. It helps to ground our spirits and ask God to fill us, empowering us to use the gifts that He has given us to bring Him glory. As worship songwriters, we desire to be inspired by the Holy Spirit. We need the Holy Spirit to lead us in worship and responding to God's great gift. The best worship songs come from a worshipful heart. My first example song collaboration is an original song called O Lord, My King. I was reading through Psalm 104 last year after a songwriting class where my teacher showed me a new guitar chord using the E major movable shape up on the sixth fret, which created an E sus2, and then I moved to an E add 9 chord. I started to reflect on verse 1, and which says, "Let all that I am praise you, Lord." I adjusted the phrase to "Let all I am praise you, Lord" to fit my melody. My wife heard me singing and said that it sounded like a bridge. I tried to take down my ego and approach the song differently. Okay, to be honest, it took me a few days. I then started to worship over a simple chord progression in the key of E. And I listed out here where I go from a four chord to a one, 4, 5, 1, 4, 1, 5, 4, 1. A chorus came along that I thought was too simple. I started to sing, "I will sing of your great name. I will lift your name on high, O Lord my King." See, she suggested the use of different line endings, but keeping the same beginning of the lines, which sounded strong. So I later changed it to, I will sing of your great name. I will sing of your great deeds. I will sing of your great love. O Lord, my King, O Lord, my King. Next, I developed lyrics for the verses, but they were scrambled. Barbara helped me develop more lyrics and put order to my scrambled lyrics. I took ownership of completing verse 1, which focused on God's glory and holiness. Barbara took ownership of completing verse 2, which described how God transforms our hearts and rescues us. The other example song I would like to share is called Who Will Come and Save Me? I acted as the composer while my wife worked on the words and melody. A friend asked my wife and I to write a song for her video about protecting the unborn and children. I started to play some chords on the piano in a minor key, and my wife came and developed lyrics and melody lines. She provided direction and mood for where she wanted the song to progress. The song is in the key of C major, but starts in the relative minor key of A minor. The intro and verse use the chord progression of 2 minor, 6 minor, 1, 5, while the chorus employs both major and minor chords, and the bridge leads to hope using the major key of C in the progression 1, 5, 6 minor, 4. There is great value in cultivating collaboration. If you're a lyricist, find composers to work with, or vice versa. If you're good at both music and lyrics, there is still benefit from working with others. Search for others that are willing to co-write. Share song tracks online if you can't meet in person. Pattison describes the Nashville co-writing process. He calls it the no-free zone. He shares a story in his book about his first experience with this process with songwriter named Stan Webb. Stan closed the door and shared that they should both share any idea, including the dumb ones, and no one will know about it. Each idea will stir up better ideas. They are free to say no to the ideas until they finally say yes. He described the learning experience as very productive and resulting in a good outcome. He uses this technique for teaching songwriting at Berklee School of Music. So this could be a fun experiment and a good exercise for a songwriting session with your worship team. First, define ground rules. It is important for everyone to know that they can share ideas without fear of rejection. Encourage each other and be respectful. Next, agree on a topic such as a characteristic of God, His goodness, His grace, His mercy, His forgiveness, or how God has transformed your life or someone you know. Ask one person to write down ideas and a musician to start playing a melody or chords. Next, set a groove and develop a chord progression. Experiment with different musical genres. Last, keep suggesting better words that flow together. So, in conclusion, we have examined several song collaboration topics and a few example songs. It's important to find other songwriters that you trust and can share ideas that will allow you to be free to share freely. Always start with prayer, asking for the Holy Spirit to guide your writing, to give God all the glory. Encourage one another and share ideas until the song is the best it can be. Finally, collaborate with others to share the gospel. So thank you so much for listening to this lecture video.